Good evening, Managing Collection students. This is Cynthia, and this is the Monday message for Monday, April 17th. And I am going to just go over very briefly our assignment, which is due on April 22nd. And this is a really great assignment because it really brings everything we've done over the semester full circle. So we're going to be looking at a group of students, which are our Papillion La Vista High School students, and then thinking about what are their needs, and then where do we find some books that we would add back into their collection. We did some deselection, and then going back and replacing those items with books that are more appropriate. And so that was a really great experience to get in there and really kind of go through that entire process and see what that kind of feels like. So I hope that, like Anne said, alleviates some of your worry about how that process goes. And this is just a really great way to bring it all together. So starting with 4.7 Part A, of the 10 or so books that you actually chose to pull off the shelf, 5 of those you're going to share with us an APA citation and a Dewey classification. So what Dewey number did that come from? What musty criteria did you use for your deselection? And then what is your justification in a sentence or two? And you're going to do that for 5 of those books. And we did put a template in course materials if you want to use that as kind of a guide to help you. And then going on to Part B, then of those books that you pulled out, we want you to choose 2 books that you would offer as a replacement in those particular areas. Based kind of on what you took out, what would you think would be a good addition? And just know that these suggestions are going to be going to Liz, and she's going to use those kind of as a basis for adding back into that collection. So this information that you're giving her is going to be very valuable. So Part B is 2 books, print or ebook, and I think we decided just to let you choose to print if that's kind of what you would like to do. You'll need an APA citation for that new book. What Dewey classification should it have? What is the format, print or ebook? 1 professional review, book review, and that is not Goodreads or Amazon. That is from a professional journal like School Library Journal, and you will APA cite that review. And over here in Purdue OWL, we do have a section on online book reviews, and that will give you kind of a guide for how you need to cite that. So you'll have the author of the review, the date, if it had a title, and then review of the title that you are sharing with us, where you found it, and then retrieved from, and the URL. If you do use Novelist, which is a subscription base, you would use Available From. So take a moment to kind of read through that paragraph and familiarize yourself with just kind of what that format is looking for, and then this will be a great guide. Over here in Novelist, this is I Am Malala, so this is a really great book, and there is a School Library Journal review, which I always go to that first. That's kind of geared towards our school libraries and our kids and their needs, so this is going to be one that I usually like to go to. And you're just going to give us a very brief summary of what that review says as you're sharing that with us. And then you're going to give us 2 selection criteria. Remember, those are the ALA selection criteria we've been talking about the whole time. Do make sure that those are the standard ALA selection criteria, not something that you maybe found someplace else. Do use those ALA criteria. Those are very important, and you'll also find that wording in your selection policies in the board policies. So that's very important that you be familiar with the ALA criteria. And then a justification statement for each of the 2 criteria. So just why does that book fit the criteria. And then I'm going to go over here, and in course materials, which I'm sure you're already aware, we have the rubrics listed, and I would always encourage you to make sure that you check those out so that you know kind of, because that's really our guide. I print those out and we write right on those as we're looking at this. And this one says 4.8, but it's actually 4.7. So you'll get points for just listing your 5 titles. You'll get points for the deselection criteria and the statement for that, and then your citations, and that'll be a total of 24 points, and that says 30, but it's 24. And then over here in 4.7 part B, you have your deselection, and you're going to just give us a very brief description of your topic. So what is the topic? Kind of what was the area that you were working in and books that you were looking for, and just kind of basic information about our student group. Remember, we did ask you to take a look at some of their demographics on the Nebraska site, any of that information that Liz shared with us. So you need to just put a very brief description of the topic and the group of students together and put that at the top. And then for one of your books, your selection criteria, the professional summary, your second book selection criteria, professional summary, you'll get points for your citations and conventions. And then just kind of a brief reflection of what that process looked like for you. That will be also something you'll want to add kind of at the bottom. So that will be your final part of 4.7. So we took a look at book review, citation, kind of what that summary is going to look like, where you'll find it. Novelist will be a great place to check. Tidal Wave, Mackin, those are all great selection tools. You could also use School Library Journal website. They have lots of reviews there. You might have to dig a little bit to find some choices, so I think Novelist would be maybe my first choice, just because you can really search and narrow down and find kind of really what you're looking at very quickly. So that will be 4.7 part A and B, due on Saturday. If you have any questions, do let us know. We'll be happy to answer those for you. And I know this is a busy time for everybody in school libraries. Lots of testing going on, getting things wound up for the school year. So keep in touch, and we will talk to you soon.